you think of Steve? Great show, wasn't he? Yeah, great show. Well, we're going to sit down. I know I'm old. It's not on.
This one works. I'll take this one. Okay, we got there. Has Joe been keeping you entertained while I've been hiding? Okay, it's a great privilege to be able to speak to Joe today. It's not easy. He was with Elvis a long time. It wasn't easy to decide what to ask him because there's a lot of years to fit in just an hour or so. But we're generally going to run through Joe's life. It's going to flash in front of his eyes. So Joe, you were born in Chicago in 1938?
I was born in Chicago, and my family's from Italy. Nice Italian boy from Chicago. And I got drafted in the Army in 1958, the same time Elvis did. And I know. And I went to Florida, Texas. I went basic training. He was there too. I didn't meet him there when I was there. I saw him on the base, but I didn't want to bother him. So then what happens after basic training, we were all going to Germany, to Friedberg, Germany, outside of Frankfurt. So what happened, Elvis's mother got sick. And as we all know, she passed away while he was in the Army. So he didn't go over there at the same time I did. He came about 2 weeks later. And I see Elvis on the base all the time, and I didn't bother him there either. But one time I was invited to go play, I always like to play football on the weekends. He always loved football. Not soccer, football. So one of his good buddies was also a friend of mine. He asked me, Joe, he says, Elvis is short some players this weekend. Would you like to come play football with us? I said, okay, great. I went over there. I went into Elvis's house, and Elvis walked over to me. And he said, hi, I'm Elvis Presley. Like I didn't know who he was. You know what I mean? But that's the kind of gentleman he is. Yeah, I know. And the thing about it, when I shook his hand and I looked in his eyes, I knew we were going to become instant friends. And I was with him till he passed away, and I'm still with him today. Thanks to you all, Elvis has the best fans in the world, and you people keep his music and him alive in people's hearts. So that's what I really feel good about that. And I have to thank Todd Slaughter for inviting me here for this event. I've had a great time since I've been here, and Todd I've known a lot of years, so it's fun to be here. Now I'm going to take my partner here. He's got a whole list of questions he's going to ask me, so get ready. Okay.
I was going to go and get a coffee. Okay, so this by now, the football game, that was in, by now Elvis was in Germany. This was over in Germany. And at that time you started going over to the house regularly, and was that the house on Goethestrasse?
Yeah, Goethestrasse, yeah, Nauheim.
And how would he spend his time, mainly when he was off duty in Germany and he was relaxing? What would he do mostly?
Well, relax most of the time, believe it or not, he'd sit at the piano and play music, play songs and sing. He loved to do that just by himself at times. But like I say, most of the time we were playing football when the day's off, when we're not out on maneuvers. So basically that was it. And then he did go on leave to Paris one time. I didn't go with him the first time. I went with him the second time. And we go see all the shows and hang out backstage with all the showgirls. That was a tough thing to do. It was very hard for me to do that, yeah. But and that's what he did. That's all he did, except be in the Army for the 2 years.
So he lived quite a regular, ordinary lifestyle at that time.
Yeah, he did a lot more work in the Army than I did. I worked in the office in the Army. He was out in the field in the maneuvers.
He would just do what all the other guys are doing and just do his service.
Yeah, that's what he wanted to do. He will not, he said, I'm in the service for 2 years, I'm gonna be another Army guy, just like anybody else. They offered him to become a special service guy, go out and entertain the troops. While I was in the service, he says, no, I'm just like the rest of the guys. I'll be out there with them for 2 years, and that's what he did.
Okay, and you were there on a special night, and that was the night when Priscilla first came over to the house. Is that right?
Just so happens, I was at the house the first day Priscilla met Elvis. It was in 1959, about August. She was stationed, her father was in the military there, he was in the Air Force. There in Wiesbaden, Germany. And a friend of ours was an Air Force guy, and he brought Priscilla over to meet Elvis. And I was there the day she walked in that door. This cute young lady in this little navy dress and everything. And I never knew she was only 14 years old. I was surprised. She looked a lot older than 14. But, and I still talk to Priscilla all the time today. So I've known her a long time. Yes.
Okay, that's thrown me now. Okay, and Priscilla, how often would you go over the house? Would it be every night or once or twice a week?
That I hang out with him?
Visit? Yeah.
Yeah, just probably on the weekends more than anything, because I had to work every day when I was in the military. I didn't go over there late because you always got to get up early in the military. On the weekends, usually Saturday and Sunday.
Okay, and over that time you became good friends, and when it came up to the time when you would leave the army,
yes.
Elvis asked you to come to work for him?
My family and friends. Then I moved to Memphis, and I moved into Graceland. And my whole life changed from that time on. Yeah, and it still is today. Yeah.
Okay, and so you moved to Memphis about the same. Pretty much the first thing that Elvis had to do when he came out of the army was the Sinatra special. So you went off to Miami with him?
So what happened when we got out of the service, Colonel Parker set up a big special that Frank Sinatra did, welcoming Elvis back from the army. So he went to, now this is, I was not in show business. I didn't know anything about show business. So we go to Miami Beach at the Fontainebleau Hotel. And we had a big, beautiful penthouse suite overlooking the ocean. And then there was another tower suite. And Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin were there, and Joey Bishop and some other big stars. And I'm standing out on the patio having a drink. And I'm looking across the way and I'm thinking, Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr., the biggest stars in the world, and I'm with the biggest star in the world right here, Elvis Presley. And I'm thinking to myself, what am I doing here? And I couldn't believe that I was with Elvis and all these big people in my life that I admire tremendously. And it was just amazing. I took a couple of drinks after that.
Coming back to a changing thing, he pretty much went into the movies at that time and made the movies more. Did he decide, was that a conscious decision before he came out of the military that he would do that, or did he really not know?
Well, see, before he went into service, Colonel Parker, in those days, he signed long contracts. He was committed to 3 movies a year for about 7 years or 8 years. So he had to do those movies. So that's why he couldn't go on the road and do concerts. So I'll get to that story later, but we had a great time doing the movies. It was a lot of fun. There were a lot of fun movies. They were exciting. They were, a lot of beautiful girls on the sets, and we didn't mind that too much. Anyway, and we met some lovely people. I'll never forget the day I met Anne Margaret when we did Viva Las Vegas. The nicest lady you ever want to meet in your life. She is so polite. When the two of them met, I could feel the energy between the two of them, that they were going to click. And they had an affair for about 2 years after making that movie, and he wasn't married yet. He was still only dating Priscilla at the time. But anyway, she is the most wonderful lady, and I still talk to her today. She is just the nicest person in the world, and she absolutely loved Elvis. And if you ever notice, she's never said